a.m. on the 2nd. And because I'm going to the United States on that day, I'm having it just a little bit early today. This is our, what can we call it, day of aspiration. And we're going to enter shortly the day of dedication. We move up through the vehicles, the emphasis on the vehicles. And this is the emphasis upon the astral body and its aspiration today, and mental dedication starting tomorrow. Whatever that tomorrow really means for us. Let's see here. I'd like to take a look at the banner for the Leo full moon, which is also the SIRIUS festival. We have to realize that as well. We have the color orange. It's a major color for Leo, even though we have our own blue logos, our indigo logos. The ordinary ruler, orthodox ruler, is the sun, standing for the center of identity, at least in a personal sense, and much later in a spiritual sense. It is in one way the ahamkara principle, and in another way it's the monad itself. The second ruler is the sun again, but this time veiling the planet Neptune, which stands for the heart of the sun and all of our various heart centers. The heart center, heart in the head, egoic lotus, and eventually the egoic lotus is considered to be the heart center of the monad. Finally, the hierarchical ruler is Uranus, standing for the central spiritual sun, or our monadic nature, and this is the particular planet which is indicative of the response to the Leo energies, which the will-inspired initiate will have. We have the Jofra illustration here. We see the rampant lion standing in divine will. Kind of in a way represents the solar plexus, the way it's drawn here, but it could equally represent the heart center. This is the symbol of identity. At the lowest level, the king of beasts, with whom we find Hercules as the soul, is wrestling. So the first level of Leo, the I am level, the ahamkara level, that limited sense of I-ness has to be overcome. The next level of Leo is the I am that, which identifies the individual with groups of various kinds. It can be an esoteric group, it can be one's nation and the soul of one's nation. It can in a way be humanity as a whole. I am that, meaning the larger group, and one finds unity within it. And finally, I am that, and that am I, stands for the universal self, or ultimately the pure being of cosmos. Sometimes it's called the name of God, I am that I am. We see here Apollo, the sun god, surrounded by sunflowers, playing the Aeolian harp, which is a seven-stringed harp representing the seven qualities of divinity and the seven rays. The chariot of the sun can be pictured as drawn by seven horses, and whatever may be the origin of the seven rays, and they certainly go even beyond the Great Bear, they do pass through the sun on their way to the different planets and to the earth. So the sun is the great, the solar logos that is the great dispenser of divine quality. And we have to discover our identity in terms of such qualities so that we can better play our part in the divine plan. Now, Francis Donald has provided us with some images beautiful images. You may remember the last one that no, this is the present one. This is the last one a year ago, and it shows Christ as the initiator in the circle of hierarchy, and ostensibly he is facing every one of the initiates, offering them the possibility of group initiation. It was a beautiful image. There's so much to say about it. But we will really speak of the image that he has at this time. And this is a very Egyptian image. We see the initiator here, the burning ground. We see the candidate. All of this in line with the Sphinx. Francis will describe this, and also the figure epsilon, which will figure into the discussion. Okay, now the text for this discussion is called The Burning Ground. Too many nines, huh? Okay, we'll go up a bit. And this is, yes, the burning ground. And let's see what is said here. Girded by a belt emblazoned with the signs of the zodiac, indicative of his completion of a cycle of preparatory lives, a white-robed disciple stands before the great Sphinx, which has for ages represented the relationship between higher and lower mind. This is as DK discusses this. Higher and lower mind, of course, the soul and the center of the personality within the mind. Sekhmet, in her role as initiator, presides. Notice that her lion's head and woman's body reverse the Sphinx's iconography, which has a woman's head and a lion's body, two differently emphasized representations of the relationship between Leo and Virgo. And I do agree with this. There is sometimes a sense in which Virgo will represent the soul and the lion, the personality and body of the initiate, but in another sense, Virgo, ruled esoterically by the moon and indicating all the lunar vehicles, can represent the personality nature, and the lion, the great assertive soul, solar angel, which eventually masters that lower instrument. So here's the candidate, and the signs of the zodiac are on his belt, and here the initiator with the head of the lion and the body of the woman, all this within the aura of the Sphinx. And here the symbol of the eye, it seems. One of the important symbols actually of the fourth initiation seems to be above the head of the initiate, or the candidate for initiation. So this is Sekhmet, the initiator. In the burning ground we see that Sekhmet, who in ancient Egypt was known as the mistress of the sacred eye, who purges the chamber of transformation, has sent forth the eye of Ra. Okay, and this seems to be it, this stream which focuses itself above the head of the initiate. Of SIRIUS to purify all aspects of life and to spiritualize matter and to subject all to the burning ground, hence the name of this. Yes, as a matter of fact, the entire fixed cross, we have the blinding light, and fiery pain comes in with Leo, blinding light with Taurus, and then bitter woe with Scorpio, and then liberation with Aquarius. So the fiery pain of the burning ground, but yet the ground of liberation before every possible initiation. So the disciple briefly glimpses the burning ground through which he must pass. He sees the way leading through the heart of the lotus beyond the purifying flames, eventually to Sothis, or Sirius, which cosmically rules Leo, here represented by the uraeus on top of the Sphinx. There we have atop the Sphinx. We're on our way to Sirius. Particularly Leo is one of the most important signs connected with Sirius. There is a triangle which relates to Sirius, Leo, and Jupiter. It's an important second ray triangle leading to the process of initiation. The great midnight blue is here, the great second ray is represented, and all of this is undertaken in the most solemn manner. Now, so all of much of this information he gives, Francis gives the footnote from various sources, and you can study this because I think he sent this to all of you. The burning ground depicted in this month's image is enclosed by a symbol derived from the five-pointed star illustrated in the image entitled Epsilon. Okay, so let's take a look at that. And this is the one here. Let's take a good look at this, and we can see the five-pointed star here. We see the 12 atop. I think, well, how many are there actually? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It looks like 9. The 9-petal lotus, the intersecting 3, and the five-pointed star from which the epsilon is derived. Let's see what Francis says about the epsilon here. As we know, the number 5, Leo, is the 5th sign associated with humankind. Note that the passage formed by the two lower legs of this symbol lead into its upper triad. This symbol has 4 sides, which could be seen as representing the lower quaternary. Okay. And here we have it leading into the upper triad. These are 2 passageways. These 4 sides plus the 5 points or corners equal 9, the number of initiation, and particularly the number of our human hierarchy, the great creative 9 as it is called. The first opening in the lower right-hand corner of the symbol, guarded by Horus in the burning ground, can be seen as representing the Libran reversal, the way that leads between the 2 great lines of force. And I suppose this is meant here, this particular opening. It follows then that the second opening represents the second birth, or the first initiation. From this point, the line of the symbol moves counterclockwise, finally culminating at the third initiation under the rod of the one initiator at the apex, presumably here. Thus, this symbol indicates both the causal body and the burning ground that finally consumes it, or as DK tells us, quote, man is the path itself, and also the pilgrim upon the path. Thus does he burn, but is also the burning ground. Man is all of these things, and finally the very central fire of the monad itself. Here are a couple of quotes, important quotes on the burning ground. It will be found that before the door of initiation lies the burning ground, which all disciples and initiates must tread. The Leo subject, either the sun or in Leo or ascendant Leo, treads this burning ground with will and self-effacement, quite different from the ahamkara principle where the lower self was glorified. But Leo is one of those signs in which a true humility is learned, along with Capricorn, 2 very related signs. Another quotation. 4 of these initiations are related to the door of initiation as occultly understood, and with the interpretation of which we are familiar. These 4 are related also to the electrical fire by friction of which the door is constructed, and which spreads to and creates the burning ground. That's interesting. Spreads to and creates the burning ground across which the initiate must 4 times move in order to enter through that door, and presumably this involves the first 4 initiations during which the causal body still exists to be annihilated after the fourth initiation. It is on the burning ground that our nature becomes similar to, congruent with, attuned with, resonant to that which lies behind the door of initiation. So all dross is burnt away, at least with respect to that initiation, and passage is allowed through similarity of vibration. So I would suggest that these have been sent to you by Francis, and if not, please let us know. I think Francis has his email here. If not, well, maybe not, and I don't have it immediately handy. But let's just take a quick little look. If I possibly, no, I don't have it handy. So it might be, yeah. Well, I don't want to guess. You can send me a notification if you don't have it, and I'll make sure that Francis receives this. He always creates such beautiful images for us, as we see here in the one from last year. The deep blue is suggested in a way as a complement of the orange of Leo. And this is the blue logos we're speaking of, and again, the quality of deep blue is reflected even more indigo in the present illustration. So study this well. We still have 24 hours plus another 6 or so, about 30 hours before the full moon, and we'll do our best to get this meditation to you. Now I think we can actually begin. Thank you, Francis, for sending these in. We will begin with our Leo meditation. Our essential divinity as spirit can be revealed in this sign. Our group consciousness can be revealed here, where the true self is seen as the group, and our transcendence of the lower ahamkaric individuality, the kind of individualism which has been valuable for so many millions of years upon the path, but which now needs to be transcended. So let us begin as we usually do, in our silence together. We are aware of our vehicle as the personality, the outer human being. The etheric, physical, astral, and mental, lower mental vehicles. And we move inward toward the true psyche or soul. We detach ourselves. We know that these are instruments we have these vehicles, but we are not these vehicles, at least for the purpose of our detachment. I have the body, but I am not the body. I have my feelings and sentient states, but am not them. I have the lower mind, but am not that mind or its thoughts. What then am I? I am the soul in incarnation. And we feel ourselves emerging into the field of light and love, from which the soul in incarnation is as a ray, but we begin to merge into another field, entering into the causal body, at least imaginatively, into that great sunflower which is symbolized so often by Leo and the sun, into the realm of spiritual light, spiritual love, spiritual sacrificial power with the sense of being in the soul as the soul, and merging with all of our group brothers and sisters into the group soul. Wherever we are on this planet, however many we are, some 50 of us at this time, 55, we are one consciousness, one sentiency, one soul, one being, really. And we extend our sense of identification to include each other in the soul state, in the group soul. And linking up in soul as well with the men and women of goodwill in the world, many, many, perhaps millions, in soul, and with the new group of world servers, the smaller and more select group of committed servers, whether or not they work with occultism, it doesn't make any difference. Their purpose to save and salvage the race, uplifting it, linking in all the many countries with the members of the new group of world servers. And finally, reaching out in soul to all the members of the human race in soul, both in incarnation and on the other side of the veil, as souls, either here or there. With the sense that we are related to every one of these human beings as souls within the one soul, the one consciousness, the one sentiency, the one multi-eyed, Argus-like sentiency of the one soul of humanity. And we know somehow that there is one being here, one human family. There is no really distinct my soul and thy soul. There is only the soul, and the great second ray mantram, naught is but me, is realized in our consciousness. No matter where our thought may take us, to whatever human being in the soul state, it is the me, the great me. Naught is but me. And from the center of the group soul we find all of the rays, all of the 7 aspects of will, the will to initiate, the will to unify, the will to evolve, the will to harmonize, the will to act, the will to cause, the will to express. Whichever one of these soul rays may be ours, 1 through 7, we feel that strengthening our mental focus and the point of mentality of the group, its collective mental unit, our focus on the mental plane, is strengthened by all 7 aspects of the will. From that point, we can draw up all of the energies of the lower parts of the personality into the mental unit, creating a point of intention, point of tension on the lower mental plane. And using our creative imagination, we can visualize the 7-fold rainbow bridge of the group, with each one of us contributing our particular aspect of the bridge. Each one of us really has a multicolored bridge, but 2 colors, that of our soul ray and our personality ray, stand out. Red for the first ray, indigo the second, green the third, yellow the fourth, orange the fifth, light blue or silvery rose the sixth, violet the seventh. We each concentrate on that bridge of dual-colored light in our own case as part of the multicolored rainbow bridge of the group. That bridge rising or moving inward towards the center, rising cone-like or moving inward towards the center, passing through the monastic permanent adamant field, the Buddhic permanent adamant field, the atmic permanent adamant field, and finally, imaginatively at least, anchoring in the blue-white diamond, very potent at this time of the blue-white star, Sirius. Each of us passing through these points and imaginatively anchoring our dual-colored field. And we think we're going to use the second ray word of power, I see the greatest light, at this time of brilliant light, involving our solar logos and the logos of Sirius, that blazing star Sirius, the brightest stellar object in our immediate vicinity cosmically, and our own blazing sun. We're going to project this vivid electric line of energy, white light, across the multicolored rainbow bridge. We will think to ourselves, I see the greatest light, I see the greatest light, saying it inwardly, even as our instrument outwardly sounds the Om on the second ray note. 3 times. I see the greatest light. The vivified Antakarana, a vital line of connection from below to above, above to below, touching the spiritual triad, and at least imaginative at the point of pure spirit, the monad, resident within the shambolic field. We bathe in this power. touching every one of us in soul, and also through our integrated and soul-infusing personality. The great power descends. The intelligence, the intuition, the light, the power, the love, the will, the sense of pure being, uniting us all. I see the greatest light. And may that light pour down upon us as we will summon the energies to our aid and for service purposes. Here we are as if touching the realm in which the Masters are found. Their focus being largely upon the triadal levels, the Buddhic plane and Atmic plane largely. And we express our solidarity with them in cooperation as we modify, qualify, and adapt the plan under their instruction and inspiration. We salute, we offer our salutations, our solidarity is expressed to the Christ, first, the Master of all the Masters. Salutations to the Christ, the Master of all Masters, teacher alike of angels and of men. We can visualize the great Lord in the center, surrounded by a six-pointed star, with the Master M, KH, DK, an English Master, Master Hilarion, and the Master R, and we as a circle around. Salutations to the triangle of masters with whom we work most closely. Salutations to the Master Morya, the head of all esoteric schools and organizations. Salutations to Master KH, the coming Christ of the age of Capricorn and the head of the secondary ashram preparing for the reappearance of the Christ. Salutations to the Master Jualku, the teacher who has given us the blue books, who trains aspirants for initiation, the messenger. Salutations. Salutations to your own Master as you know him to be or conceive him to be. Om. Salutations to the spiritual hierarchy of our planet. And now we move in our imagination upward to the center where the will of God is known. With Sanat Kumara, the Lord of the world, the head of the one fundamental school of occultism in Shambhala, we visualize the great Lord. And seeking an alignment with will, with purpose, with his intention, we sound a long, inward, silent Om as a group. May the divine purpose in some measure be known to us, even as it can be through Leo and its hierarchical ruler Uranus. May some of this impress us so that we can carry it out in service through our aspect of the plan, that aspect for which we have made ourselves responsible. And so we are as a point. We are as a point of light, of love, of power. We are one thing. We are fused in our sense of unity and unified consciousness, and we hover, as it were, above the golden pathway. Get the sense of the one group, with all of us as a point of consciousness being, above the pathway that leads into the indigo sun. It shortens, it is retracted into the indigo sun. And we travel with it on this path into the indigo sun. Imagine we are within the interior of the great indigo sun, the sphere, subject to the energy of the solar logos, which pours throughout our solar system. And there we can find the consciousness of Master DK, with whom so many of us work so closely. And we feel as if we, a group, can be an outpost of this consciousness as we strive to touch, to assimilate the energies available at this time, as if his consciousness suffuses our own in our efforts to attune to these available energies, becoming more and more powerful over the next 30 hours or so, more and more powerful, and we attune and are supported. And we're going to align with the spiritual qualities emanating from the three planetary rulers of the sign Leo. Mostly the sun, of course, star, the central star, the vehicle of the great solar logos, but perhaps the sun veiling Jupiter in the orthodox sense, and certainly associated with a non-sacred second-ray planet, the sun veiling Neptune, and the sun veiling Uranus. Through the refulgent rays of the sun, the qualities which represent our occult mind and will, and our occult heart, the heart of the sun, they reach us, and also the glory of the pranic vitalizing sun. Understanding now the heart of the matter, the heart of our identity, transcending our limited sense of individual identity, individualism, into at least the group identity, and maybe into that realization which is the possession of the initiates, the realization of the One. Identity as the One. These are the energies with which we seek to attune, supported by the deeply understanding consciousness of Master DK, and as if, in a way, within the indigo disk, where great realization can come through on the second ray, the ray of our planet in its soul, and the ray of our solar system. So in a way, the major synthetic ray, whatever our ray may be. First then, to ponder on the sun, the power of the sun, the vehicle of our solar logos. Helios, the Most High, Soul, the One, He who stands alone, at least the egoic self, the monatic self, each wider, wider and wider. A sun at every one of those levels, and in a way a sun in each one of our chakras. Radiant vitality, streaming from the solar logos, the effective source of what we call life, consciousness and will within our solar system. We who seek to become solarized and to find our true home, as it is said of the monad, within the sun. We attempt to feel this. Great sun of positivity, our monad, home within the sun, our soul within the sun, our solarized, soul-infused personality, permeated by that for which the sun is the symbol, pouring through us as a group, available to every member of the group, as we are imbued with this solar presence, its etheric vitality and its higher meanings. And this we send outward into the world, so that our fellow human beings and members of other kingdoms may receive the best of this energy and be vitalized and weaned away from the retrogression which the moon symbolizes in occultism. Our solarized selves, our solarized groups, our solarized humanity, let us see the energy pouring forth. We will sound the Om, seeing this pouring forth. Om. May we in our groups carry this solar power, this sun power, this solar logoic influence, positivizing us under all circumstances. We lift our thoughts to the second level of the sun. It is the sun as it veils that planet which may be the greatest of the second ray planets in our solar system, the second ray monad of Neptune, the power to experience the solar flames as they are focused within the heart of the sun and within our own heart in the head, our own egoic lotus. Even our monad is an agent of love, which it also is on the second plane, and to which Neptune extends, visualizing in a way the heart of the sun, the egoic nature on the cosmic mental plane of our solar logos. There is an alignment leading from the sun through Neptune, through Venus, through Samat Kumara, who is the Lord of Venusian love in Shambhala, and through the Christ in the hierarchy, and through the group soul, and through our own soul nature, and into the heart and the head and the heart centers, this alignment, even from SIRIUS, where Neptune is one of the conveying planets of the Sirian quality, along with the other two synthesizing planets. This heart of the sun alignment. In which we can live. And it will make all the difference. Making us examples not just of the will to love, but of actual fiery solar love. The great need in all esoteric groups and in humanity as a whole, as we can well see. You feel the glowing warmth of the love divine, expressing his identification through the heart and the head center, and compassion and selfless love, they express through the heart center, and we dwell imaginatively in this heart of the sun energy. As conveyed to us, which we convey. Not just a time of great vitality, but a time of great love in the divine sense, the heart of the sun energy through Neptune, the repository of the solar flames. We carry this to our group, our groups, to humanity as a whole, blessing the world with this heart of the sun energy through Neptune. Oh. This energy will be known as true love from the cosmic mental plane, and then the cosmic astral plane, and through Shambhala and all monads, and in the path of descent. Particularly representative of Leo and our solar god, who of the three fire signs represents consciousness and love. The group imbued by the great blue of Neptune. Humanity thus imbued, even see the glyph in the midst of humanity, the indigo glyph of Neptune. Higher Neptune, which the Christ love conveys, but it really comes all the way from the cosmic Christ, which is Sirius itself for our purposes. And now we attune with Uranus. It is transcendental. It is the great first-ray planet monadically. It bows its head towards the sun. Its pole is actually below the horizontal. It is a little bit more turquoise in its outer color than the blue of Neptune. It is the hierarchical ruler. And so we attune with this solar Uranian will, the sun veiling Uranus, conveying the will of the solar logos through the divine flames. The will of the planetary logos, the will of the monad, relating us to all the creative hierarchies, relating us to the cosmos, a linking planet, just as its lower octave Mercury is a linking planet. And here is the electric fire of pure spirit emanating from the sea of fire, the logoic plane itself, where Uranus is one of the major presiding planets. True electric fire, the fire of being, passing through your monadic nature, and through the spiritual triad, especially Atma, and anchoring directly in the jewel of the lotus, coming down and finally expressing purposefully through the central jewel of your crown center, first on the astral plane, and then the crown, the etheric crown, on the highest etheric level, the jewel of the lotus reflecting the monad, which is reflected by the jewel in the head center. Electrifying. Empowering with as much of pure will, in this case the will of the planetary logos, as we can understand, for the monad is directly connected with this. And the jewel in the head center, is really a reflection of the monadic energy. And down through all of our centers, electrifying every one of the centers, this Uranian energy, vivifying the pores, every one of the centers, the central jewel, from the monad to the base. Uranus conveying the divine purpose, the will to express through electric fire, the divine archetype of your essential spirit as it expresses on the monadic plane, your essential identity, at least in the human phase. Attempt then to see in a flash of realization the occult oneness of all. I am that I am. I am that, and that I am. Pure being, one and all. Revealing the archetype we are meant to be and express, and revealing the very heart of life, the core of life, through expressing through the archetype which is ours to express, to manifest. I am that, and that am I. This electric fire permeating, sweeping through our group, and our groups need this. We take it in. It imbues us. The group needs the will, the purpose, to carry through in these difficult days, the plan, especially the occult program of the plan for which we are, to a degree, responsible in the human sphere. We need this. Humanity needs this to the extent it can understand, and so we will transmit, we will use the violet note, the B for Uranus. Conveying this electric fire to our groups and to humanity, to the planet. Helping to restore a truer identity, identity as being, identity as spirit, a true Leo self, and the realization of that self, what we really are. Uranus revealing in a flash of simultaneity what we really are. Three planets, the Sun veiling perhaps Jupiter, the Sun veiling Neptune, the Sun veiling Uranus. Three emissaries of the Sun that we now envision, taking into our heart and mind the sense of the solar logoic presence through all things, the great ray of love, wisdom permeating our solar system. The most fundamental energy, within this great solar logos, which reaches to the farthest bounds of the solar system and all levels and beyond the etheric physical nature and through his astral and mental nature. The great solar logos permeating, and we, a ray of that logos, and now we take it further even. Visualizing the great blue star, the star Sirius, 8 light years away, very brilliant in the night sky. Sirius, the home of the prototype of the Great White Lodge, Sirius. Star of initiation, star of sensitivity, star of freedom, star of karma, the purifier, the scorcher, the initiator. Initiating our solar logos and bringing about initiation throughout our solar system, and especially in relation to our Earth, which has a special relation to Sirius. In the same way the ancient Egyptians and those who went before appreciated the nature of this star, so do we increasingly. With the majority of humanity aspiring to the Blue Lodge on Sirius. Potent inspiration at this time of the Syrian festival at the Leo full moon, when the hierarchy as a whole is recognized by Sanat Kumara. We carry the sense of this great star of initiation through this period. The most Syrianly potent time of the year. One day, as initiates of the 3rd degree, this star can be contacted directly. For now, as a group, we can make application. Through Venus, through Neptune, through our solar logos, to the star Sirius. Absorbing these energies. One day, as 3rd degree initiates, we become humble disciples in relation to Sirius. Not even 1st degree initiates yet. But we are on the Syrian path. This path which leads through the 5th initiation, the 5, and thence to the 6th, whichever path we may take up to that time. Sirius is the great initiator and inspiration. And so in all we do during these days of reception and distribution, it is Sirius behind our efforts, permeating with its amazing inspiration, uniting with the Sun and the other planets who sponsor it, the 3 synthesizing planets and Venus, Jupiter too, Mercury too, so many of them, Sirius. And then, imbued as a group with these energies and sharing them, we think towards Leo, that brilliant constellation, that magnificent constellational lord. Leo, the light of the soul, a reflected point of light, logoic or divine. The light diffused in Cancer focuses and reveals eventually a point. And that point for us must be the jewel in the lotus, or even more, the great jewel in the crown, the monad itself. Leo, the revealer of light, the illuminator of consciousness, knowing that all consciousnesses are as one consciousness for one being. Leo revealing this, the feel of Leo, bringing in the fifth ray of luminescent power, the first ray of will, sometimes the roaring orange light, as it has been called, and yet essentially a constellation of consciousness connected with the second aspect. So the subray, the first subray, the second, the fifth subray, the first and the fifth, essentially the consciousness of the second ray, subrays thereof. Leo, pouring through the Sun, second ray, Neptune, sixth and second ray, Uranus, seventh and first ray. A true identity for which Leo stands, subsuming our solar logos in the star Sirius, the logos of Sirius. And we ponder particularly, I am that and that am I. I am that and that am I, or I am that I am. We assume the I am that consciousness of the group soul is forming in us, that we feel it, we relate. We have lifted Leo to the group level of group soul, group love, group light. And then I am that and that I am. Through the heart one can know naught is but me. Let the group know there are no other selves. The macrocosmic whole is all there is. Let the group perceive that whole, and then no longer use the thought, my soul and thine. I am that, and that am I. overpowering presence of which all beings are externalizations. That the presence, the mind stream, the one being, the universal logos, suchness, so many words for it. I am that, and that am I. That great something from which our identity is inseparable. That. I am that, and that am I. May this presence intensify over these next 29 or 30 hours, and may we be consciously that presence as during the days of distribution we share the radiation of that mantram as it has infused us, making it possible for others to experience this presence. I am that, and that am I. All will come to the realization of this unity of identity eventually, and will know, will realize naught is but me, the that, the presence, the one identity. The one being of cosmos. I am that, and that am I. I am that. through Orion, through Leo, through Sirius, through the Sun, through the Sirian Logos and system and our solar Logos, and the many planets, especially in this case, Jupiter, Neptune, Uranus, even Venus, and to our Earth, and into Shambhala and every spirit in the one planetary monad. And through every triad, and through every soul, every egoic lotus, and through every vehicle and chakra, especially in the heart centers. The great energy pours, animating us, vitalizing us, including us, absorbing us, radiating through us, and into the world where the sense of identity, the true identity, is needed. This Leo energy, for all those people who just think I am and I am not you. The change. At least I am the soul, at least I am that. Into those troubled areas of the world, the troubled areas where all kinds of glamour and illusion and Maya have captured people because they don't know who they are. They don't know themselves. We send this energy of true identity, so they can wake up to themselves as we are attempting to awake. Wake up and know they need not be swept by these false, illusory energy currents and ideas, habits. They can be the true self, the soul, and the truer self, the spirit, and a still truer self, the spirit of humanity, and finally just the one. But not immediately, of course, but even to wake up to the soul self, to the immortal self, to the reincarnating self. So we send that wish, that hope, that awakening stream, that beam of awakening to a truer self into the body of humanity, and we will use the second ray note 3 times on the Om to help awaken to the soul, a truer self. Know thyself. And during these days, that's what we radiate, this power to help awaken others and ourselves to a greater degree to what is the self. The various ascending levels of selfhood until the one remains. We radiate that being of true selfhood, not false egoic selfhood, misidentification, not that. Something truer, comings with the heart, and the heart and the head and the egoic lotus and realms beyond. So we close our meditation on identification, identity, on Leo, on Sirius, on the Solar Logos, on the heart of the matter, with the great invocation, followed by the sacred word 3 times, breathing all that we may have touched down the Antakarana into our system, out to those who can use it on our planet. Breathing it forth, uplifting, solarizing, making radiant at this radiant time of the year when Sanat Kumara acknowledges the hierarchy, all new members, and within that blue circle of hierarchy, even the initiates of the threshold are found, even the disciples. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Oh. So friends, it's at early in the morning GMT, 3:27:27, 6:27:27 here in Finland, and you'll calculate your own place. We have a nice build-up time for this. We still have approximately 29 hours. We can do a lot with that. Intensifying the radiance that as a group I trust we have absorbed and distributed. We'll keep on absorbing, absorbing, holding, then really on the days of distribution, sharing. Okay. Thank you, everybody. And we will get this meditation to you as soon as we can so you can use it for what purposes you wish, whether for full moon purposes or for the days of distribution. So looking forward to seeing you in the mind's eye at the actual moment of the full moon. And thank you for joining us now. Have a good build-up, a good intensification towards the full moon. Thank you, everybody.